Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
I am pretty good. How are you?
Good. Busy for sure.
Yeah, good, busy.
Good busy. Yeah. Some good, some bad. I got my parents, I'm like getting rid of a storage unit and it's just been an absolute bitch.
Yeah. Oh,
It-
I'm sorry.
It's like
Um,
a 3-month project.
you're still in the States, right? You didn't leave or anything yet, or you
Yeah.
weren't. Okay.
Yeah. I need to generate some cash flow before I leave again, but
Yeah,
I think I'm really close.
that's
It's
awesome.
good.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
have to give me an update because I think the last time we chatted, you had sites and then your friend's SEO company was like going to work on them, right? Or like, wasn't
Yeah.
that game plan?
So that was the game plan. I had them start working on it and they sucked. So yeah, they were
Funny
awful.
how that works, you know?
Yeah, I know. I reached out to Tyler Metcalf too, and because I watched one of his lives and I was like, hey, just wanted to have a couple questions about XYZ. And then I told him that I was outsourcing, and he's like, dude, sometimes that'll kill a business, if you outsource too early.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did that and I set up all these notifications, a bunch of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm spending my time in the wrong places. Have been for a while. Just need to, I watched Ipe's live and I was like, get into it, get into the mix, stop messing around, just go find people. You know what to do. Like I
Yeah.
have all these processes and everything. And I'm like, dude, you don't even have a client. So why don't you just go get a client?
Yeah, no, I was actually just thinking about that. I had to go like drop something off at my ex's house for the kids, and he just started a window cleaning company here in Jacksonville, and he like made a web. He did, I mean, it's this, right? I mean, this is what we've built our business on, and he was like, screw it. Like, I know someone that does it like in another state, so he helped him like tell him what tools or whatever to get, but he literally made a website, got it ranked. There's leads, and now he owns a window cleaning company. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's just like, and obviously, like, that's not the end goal, but it's
Mhm.
just the imperfect action where it's like, I know there's a need. I know I can do this. I don't really know that, I don't know like the B through X, but like, dude, you figure it out, like that's life. And
Yeah.
I think so many people like just put emphasis, and I do agree with the processes stuff, like I think there needs to be those things in place, but to your point, you have to get to that point where you're like, shit, okay, like because then you know what you're dealing with, right? Like you could spend
Yeah.
this time creating all these processes that may
Mhm.
not even be relevant to what you,
Yeah.
so that was like a waste, and it's just, I totally get it, but I definitely feel like when we all started, it was very like guerrilla warfare kind of style, like that
Mhm.
was that was kind of our mentality a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that as more courses and the internet and all this popular stuff has come about, everyone kind of has this, idea that they need software and they need this. Like every
Yeah.
you really don't. Like you just need to dumb it down. And like that's where the money is. So
100%. I mean, I was seeing shiny objects everywhere. All my
yeah.
buddies, they obviously make a good amount of money and they have all these softwares that optimize their processes and everything. And I was like, oh, like, let me set that up. Let me set that up. And I was having fun doing it. And now I have a whole database of videos and all this stuff that's cool if I ever dish it off. But again, I
Mhm.
wasn't making money. And yeah, I mean, I just literally typed out whatever Ipe said on his cold call or on his like a video. I reworded it to make it sound like myself. Called 6 business owners my first day. First one, I literally had to hang up because I was so nervous. Never done a cold call in my entire
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, can I call you back real quick? But then by the sixth one, I think I landed like an A client, or like a whatever ePay calls them, like a top tier client on some guy who's pretty well established. You know, I think I know what I'm supposed to be going for. I guess I could just ask you. But I mean, this company that I got is very well established. It's not like a mom and pop, but like they have it seems like a pretty big reach. I did my due diligence on a city beforehand. So
Okay.
I was like, I kind of switched up eBay's process where he does, go find a big city and then just go for A contractors. Mine was, I'm going to do 200 cities of due diligence, find the markets that I can enter, and then go look for the A players within that, because typically the ones that I was finding were around big cities. And mine's in Gilbert, Arizona, which is like 230,000 population.
Mm-hmm.
Well-established business. Guy's got a lot of reviews. He's got a GMB set up, so no SEO deals or anything. But I saw a gap where there's only one GMB listing, and they're also the top organic, but their domain authority is like a 6. It's like terrible. The website's terrible. Everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I could at least get a spot in the GMB map pack, and I already got my GMB approved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have my
Yeah, that's
site.
awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, yeah. I just started sending it. I was like, there's a dirt lot, in the like I used Google Keyword Planner. I found the zip code that I wanted. I was like, okay, that's where all the calls are coming from. I'm gonna go in there. Did the verification, but now, yeah. So this guy's well established. Um, he has the bandwidth to take on more work, but I don't know if I'm like, 2xing his business. I'm just giving him more calls. Is
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
totally
I mean,
fine?
yeah, because I mean, listen, you just don't know what you don't know, right? Like, I mean, it's just like with ePay. ePay and I had a Zoom, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe whatever. We are talking about it. And I think that I don't know, I didn't watch his live, but I know what he told us. And he like basically did what you did, right? And then got the GMB up. And then one of the companies, like it was like a $1,500 commission that he got from this deal. And it's
Mhm.
like, I mean, but that's a lot of money, right? I mean, they're paying you 10%. That job's worth a ton, in that regard. Like, who even they are not going to give a shit. Like, they are going to be so stoked that they know your value. And like, again, you just kind of play it as it comes. And then I think the biggest thing is just, you never want to set up expectations too much or too little because for your sake and for theirs. So I think as long as you just position it in, hey, I'm getting some calls. I want, whatever comes through, I would like you to take them, or if they want to, whatever. And then just pay me 10% or whatever the case is, fine. And then when stuff starts getting consistent and you can see a pattern and a trend or
Mhm.
whatever, that's when you could have a more serious conversation, right? But like, I think
Mhm.
you're totally, that's amazing. That's the stuff that I wish people would just do more of because it's like, I think I've said this so many times, people just get in their own heads so much. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're gonna, it's uncomfortable, like what you said. I mean, I fumbled through my first ones, all the same, but like, dude, that's a couple calls in and you have that, like, that's amazing.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
who knows where that, relationship can take you from a business perspective. So
Like,
it's just exciting. And I think it proves the process. And now you just rinse, repeat, right? And then go through
yeah.
that. But Ipe made a really valid point with the GMBs. And I think that that is, we're even talking about switching up the training a little bit. I don't really know if for sure this will happen, but of positioning it that way, because I think you can just get a lot quicker results, if you play
Yeah.
the cards, just depending on how it works out. But I think that's awesome. Good. That's,
Yeah, I mean, I also got my second client. So yeah,
see?
I like went and did it again.
Amazing.
I was like, I'm just gonna try another one because I kind of worked a lot on this website for the Gilbert one, and I was like,
Okay.
I feel like it's in a decent position where I just need to wait a little bit. It kind of dropped a lot, and I wanted to go over that on this call if you could just kind of like take a look at it at some point. But then I was like, I feel like I got my automation process. I can duplicate pages with unique content pretty rapidly, and I'm building it out. I feel like I could take on a second client, and then yesterday I just found another guy who's willing to do this commission deal, and he's like, "Yeah, let's set it up." I was like, "All
Yeah.
right."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, I mean, that's the thing. Like, like imagine if you had, I mean, you know, now obviously you have to fulfill it, but still, like you have a built-in money as long as
Mhm.
its calls are coming through. So, I think that's awesome. You just now,
Yeah,
you know, um,
yeah.
what's the niche again? Sorry, you told me, I think in the night.
So I am fully focused on artificial turf right now.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like one of the first things you said to me. You're like, you liked artificial turf, and then I started going off on a spiral of my own, but the ticket price is high. I've worked with it before.
Sure.
And I kind of know it. So I was like, I'm just gonna give it a go. And did my due diligence in a bunch of places. And then do you want me to send you the website that I have up?
Yeah. Why don't you send it to me and I can take a look? And this is the one that you're having,
This
it's that dropped.
Yeah, this one dropped from like 50 to 80 this past week. After I added all this stuff, it is indexed and everything. So I'm kind of just like,
Are your friends, did your friends add backlinks to it?
no backlinks
Okay.
yet because I just got everything set up when
Okay.
I got this client. But basically just built out a ton of content. And then I think the done for you sites come with some. So I basically had the done for you site and then I modified it and connected a bunch of data from Google Sheets to templates that I made within the service and location pages.
Okay.
And then I can create content that's tailored to, that service or whatever. But yeah, I created my own templates on top of a done for you site.
I think the site looks really good. I'm just looking. How new is it? Like how new specifically is like the domain? Like when did you make it live?
The
Like within the
domain is
last couple weeks?
I mean, I had this domain, let me see. It's been a while. I've had the domain for a little bit, but the pages are all new.
That okay, so like, and I honestly don't remember what's in the videos, but I just know this from experience. There's a thing called, like, we like to call it like the Google dance a little bit, especially
Mhm,
a new site, and new as in meaning even adding content, right? Like,
mhm,
that kind of stuff. You got to remember, like, Google's trying to figure you out right now. So even if it starts at something, it could hop. Like that's happened a ton, especially in the beginning. um they're placing you, where they find it relevant or whatever. The other thing you could do too is, I see you have like all these location, pages.
mhm,
um what you could do is, when you start like the SEO process in a sense, you could specifically link to like the certain page that has, like, it's like out of Gilbert or Paradise Valley or whatever, right? Like which one seems easiest out of all of those? Because then you could start ranking and pushing juice to like that specific location page, right? Which is
mhm,
inadvertently going to go, to the whole site. But if it's a low competition in that area,
mhm.
right? Like it's just going to kind of be easier and help it out. And then I think that will help out all the other stuff too. Um,
So you're saying like kind of identify which markets are easier to get into, but like could be fruitful, and then
yes.
people will see that at like the top and they start going to it, and then it'll inadvertently go to my homepage as well.
Correct, because think about it in the fact of, like, if you go back to Ipe's analogy with the GMB, right? Like you're going to find a GMB or a spot that's like wide open, or like no competition, just for that very, very easily ranked area, right?
Mhm,
So obviously, like, in your website, like all those areas can be serviced, which is amazing. But like we need to find, like, out of those 10 or whatever the amount is, which one is like the top, right? Because then that's when you go and go dominate that one very specific part, and then rank, as that page ranks, right? Traction goes to it.
mhm.
It's all going to help the main broad page, which is going to help you rank in the other areas, and all of that. So I wouldn't be too concerned with it. I think the site looks great. I mean, as long as you changed up the content, I think that could obviously be, hurting it a little bit, but I don't think that you've done enough from a ranking process to make that determination, right? Like, because you
Yeah.
haven't done backlinks or anything yet, so you don't really know. Because it's kind of that ratio of mixture
Yeah.
of both. So that's what I would say to do. And remember, there's so many long tail keywords that we just don't know of that
Mm.
maybe your site is ranking higher in those, right? And you just like, it's just hard to always determine exactly. I mean, the best telltale sign is calls. So,
Yeah.
you
And I
know,
think what I was really wondering is like, is there any detriment to my site to keep working on it in the way that I'm working on it? Or should I just, obviously get some backlinks, keep building out the content, and it'll naturally find its way and its relevance to the.
yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing, there's plenty. I mean, you could always add a blog, right? Like you could do those kind of things. It's only going to help, and make that like a weekly, kind of checkpoint or whatever, just to add like value in a massive sense. But I think you should start backlinking. Um, I think that's just the method I've always used. Is I get the site live content, right? I see where it's
Mhm.
sitting, start some backlinks, and then I can really see, okay, hey, I need to change the content, right? Because I've done the backlinks and now, I know those are working because, it's showing up, they're getting juice. It should
Yeah.
be moving. If it's not, then that's where you can make that determination of content, right? It's just kind of that fine line. But I think the site looks great. Honestly, it never hurts to add more content, but I also think you got to figure out backlinks and stuff too. So I think
Yeah.
it's, again, the ratio of both. So, um,
Mhm.
yeah, but go do some directory sites really quick. I mean, I think we talked about that too, the process stuff, like make sure you have your list. And when you find a good, you know, um, directory site or whatever the case is, just put it on there, right? Especially if you're starting to stick in that same vertical. I mean, this is going to be like that for you when you
Yeah.
start, pushing those out. So that's how I would approach it right now for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely feel like it's a lot easier to focus on one niche
Yeah,
that can be profitable. And it seems like, first
for
two cities
sure.
that I've contacted, people are interested. So yeah, it's been a lot. I was all over the place to start, but it feels like I'm finally honing in on the process
Sure.
a
And
little bit.
listen, I think that everyone does it differently, like some people can handle turf and dog walking. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Some people just want this side. I just don't like to see people get stuck in like you're seeing results in the niche. So I like that. Like that's cool. You know what I mean? Like roll with it. People that are like determined to be like, I'm sticking with concrete. And I'm like, you haven't even, sold like nothing. Like you gotta be willing to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you're fine. Like this is great. I mean, honestly, it makes me happy that you're doing it this way. Like I think we can all say it till we're blue in the face, but like this is the stuff that we've, I mean, when we needed clients, I remember we did, this is back when like Google Maps, like 360 photos were really big, like those 360 cameras. Um, and Google was starting to place like a high emphasis on having map listings rank higher if you had a 360 photo. So we literally like made flyers, walked into businesses and said, hey, handed them a flyer. We got 500 bucks a pop. And then we would schedule a time to literally go take 20 minutes and set up our little 360 camera at 500 bucks a pop. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
because they can't do it. They don't, and you just literally educate them for 5 minutes. And yes, you have to walk in the business, right? But who cares? Like, I mean, we sold almost like 10 of them. And
yeah.
then that led to other opportunities that led to other opportunities. So I
Mhm.
think like just starting out, like doing what you're doing, it's just really good for you and the process and like seeing even like how simple it is to sell this stuff if you
Mhm.
just get in front of that right person,
Yeah.
like everyone needs this and not every client is going to understand that unfortunately, but like the fact that you have two right now, right? Like
Mhm.
it's awesome. So
Yeah.
I
No,
like,
it definitely feels way better. I was like, oh my, I was, yeah, freaking
yeah.
out. So,
Yeah,
um,
don't freak out. I mean, listen, I think that we all go through those paths and just like it's super easy to get in those realms of like you see this software and you see this, but like that's why I'm a huge advocate of not doing that stuff sometimes because
Mhm.
especially in the beginning, because you really can get stuck that way, you know?
Yeah.
And we have so much power within ourselves that we just like have to utilize it. And um yeah, no, that's great. So what's the, I mean, game plan wise with SEO, like you feel confident in like how you're going to move forward if you're going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna work on backlinks. I found some directories already. I have all my socials. Right now it's like GMB optimization is kind of like my main thing. So I'm
Okay.
like, but I did have some questions about that because I've seen some like content on the Facebook where it's like obviously I want to get a bunch of photos uploaded and I have all my socials kind of dialed in.
Okay.
Um, but like I guess for the content, like are you going out to people's lawns and taking pictures of their artificial turf or I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
can. We've all done it.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, there,
but Canva stuff will destroy my GBP, right? Like
um,
I shouldn't be going and getting random like online images.
so the thing with online images though, you can, with Canva, you just need to, so like, even if you went and got a stock photo, like from Canva, and you like added your logo to it, that actually changes the whole thing because now that's a whole new image in Google's mind, right? So
Mhm.
you can do that. I used to take stock photos and I would crop them and save them and like that helped it because it's not a stock photo anymore
Mhm.
because I manipulated it basically.
Okay.
So I think Canva's fine. Like, I mean, I would utilize the free tools you have. The quality's high, which is good. You need to have a, I mean, you know, again, that's something Google plays into. You don't want like a low quality image, you know, you want to have it, you know, built for that purpose. So I think
Mhm.
all that's good. You don't need to be paying for stuff. Like, don't go to like Adobe or whatever and pay for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stock stuff. But
I already paid for Canva, so I have a bunch of nice
yeah,
images
I mean, I use Canva
ready.
for like everything.
Yeah.
And I know too that some of the pictures, like even, you know, on done for you sites, like I don't know exactly all the programs they use, but I do know they utilize Canva too. So I mean, listen, it works. So just make sure you manipulate it. That's all I'd say. Like crop the size, you know, add a little something something in there because
Yeah.
that will completely change the image structure in Google's, you know.
Yeah. I was just gonna add my logo on everything.
Yep, that's fine. Like
Okay.
that's totally okay. Make it so it's uniform, looks pretty, you know, maybe like I said, in the center of it, in the bottom, or like on the right, left, whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, that will be totally okay.
Okay. Yeah. Like right now, just all GMB focus. So yeah, photos. I
There you
know
go.
reviews may take a little bit. I don't know if there's any I've seen some review hacks, but I've also seen a lot of like
I
caution
would be
signs.
careful.
Yeah.
I would be careful with reviews. I would just like we it's so funny. We used to like have review circles, almost like a link circle. So we would like go on and like review our, you know,
Mhm.
people's stuff. Just not like that anymore. But I think they'll naturally come as you start getting clients. And there's ways to do it that are very organic. Like you know the leads that are coming through, you can literally text them yourself, you know, and here, can you leave a review on this? Right. And like whatever the case is. And then you could take that review and you could post it to your Facebook page. I mean, there's all these different things that you can do to start adding legitimacy, you know,
Yeah.
to the site. But I wouldn't be too concerned with the reviews. I mean, listen, ePay just got that up. He didn't have any reviews, right? It still leads. That's where the power of having low competition comes in, you know? So if you're going into these markets that do have low competition, it's going to be really simple. I mean, you just get the
Mhm.
freaking map listing up and then put some good content, good pictures. I mean, that's enough, right? And that's why I think too, even with, this is gonna go like one step deeper, but your location pages, like for that Gilbert site, you know, you
Mhm.
could have a map listing for each one of those. You could have like almost.
Like a full GMB?
Mhm.
Whoa.
Yeah, because they're all different areas. They're all different zip codes. So you can literally like this, all these could all have a different GMB that all lead back to this site.
Uh-huh.
So
All
because
under my one Gmail, my Gilbert Turf Solutions Gmail.
um you want to have different Gmails. So I would try
Okay.
to, when you start to get, this is the complicated aspect of it sometimes, but that this is what you could look him up in the group. His name's JR. He did this for the kitchen, commercial kitchen, whatever he does. It's like his niche. But
Mhm.
he literally, it's in New Jersey, which is obviously, hugely populated and small amount of area. And he had one main site just like this, but all these different locations, right? Because he needed to hit those markets. So
Mhm.
he tied that GMB to each location page. Because if you go to Sun Lakes, this is a whole nother page. It's a whole nother URL. It's not your main home URL, you know?
Mhm.
So like that's what I would do personally. Um, and you can change, you know, I would, because that's only going to help out your rankings too. And you don't have to do it to all of them, but you could do it to a
Mhm.
few main ones if you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
because if that's the route you're wanting to focus on for sure, that GMB and you hit all of those, it's only gonna, skyrocket it.
Okay.
Because
Got
yeah,
it.
I'm assuming, I don't know, but I am assuming that each one of these places has a completely different zip code,
Mhm.
and that warrants a different GMB if you want it.
Okay.
So
But with new Gmails.
yeah, I would probably try to stick with new Gmails, and this is where you do need to have a list because it can get complicated. But you could make like, I mean, as simple as Gilbert Turf Solutions, whatever you want to name it. It doesn't even matter, But like I would try to, because if you have all of them tied together, that is quite a lot of Gmail. It's quite a lot. I mean, especially with this all going into one. You know what I mean? Um,
Like, yeah.
done it. I've done locations with the same Gmail. Um, for like a really big trampoline park, like all over Canada, and the US. But
So random.
I know our friends owned it. It's called Flying Squirrel. They started it and we did all their GMBs. And I
Okay.
think they had like 25 locations.
Mhm.
But I am pretty sure, to be honest, that each location had their own email, if I remember correctly, and especially when you're starting to get up in that. But again, I would ask the group. I like to have another opinion on what people would say, especially with GMBs, because it is a slippery slope with this stuff. But I would say you'd need different Gmails, especially for this amount. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I'm like very cautious because this is like my one where I'm like starting to get some
Yeah.
traction on it. I've seen that you can also bulk approve GMBs. It'd be like if you have, multiple locations, Google gives you that option. I haven't clicked on it yet, so I don't really know what it entails. Um,
Mhm.
maybe in a future one, I'll see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Tyler's a great. I would just listen to the right people in the group. I think I've told you before. Like, there's going to be a lot of opinions. I would ask Tyler for sure. I mean, Greg, um, is an amazing resource for GMBs too. But
Mhm.
like, yeah, just run it by them. But this is and again, you don't have to do all of them. But even if you did, go through this list, find the few that are like, hey, like these look really easy. Like
Mhm.
there's no competition in Gold Canyon, Okay, great. Then you should be putting up a GMB there because then, that's only going to help you. So
Yeah.
that's what I would do. But I do
Um,
have to go. I have another meeting. But do you have anything else, like question wise? Would you want to email me if you do, or
I just had a question about Gmails, but I can get it to you later or something like that.
just shoot me a Facebook message or an email and I can totally answer it. I just have, let me see. Yeah, I have another meeting right now, so.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Good job. That's awesome. And again, keep me in the loop with stuff, but yeah, we'll chat soon.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Bye, Jake. See ya.
Bye.